Hi everyone, I'm Deanne Barrett and welcome to Resilient Teen. Today we are here with Keisha Gaddis. She's also known as Coach Keisha, and she's an internationally recognized speaker, author, mentor, and certified life coach who brings a whole lot of girl power wherever she goes. So welcome, Keisha.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
So great to connect with you. I have to just say, when I went on Keisha's website, I was like, oh, I want to be Keisha when I grow up. It's so awesome. Tell us a little bit.
I felt the same way looking at your website.
Oh, thank you.
On your website, I love everything you're talking about. So I was very happy that you contacted me.
I know. I thought we're like two peas in a pod on different ends of kind of the continent. You're in Texas, right?
I am.
And I'm up here in Canada. So Keisha, tell us a little bit about what got you into this work of inspiring and empowering girls.
Okay. So, I really feel like I was called into this work. I struggled as a teenager. I struggled with self-esteem. I struggled with body image. I struggled with showing up and believing in myself and making smart choices. And because of that, I basically played small and I chose to hang around the wrong kind of friends. I just made some decisions that really weren't benefiting me and weren't serving me. And then whenever I became an adult and I started working in schools as a teacher and a counselor, I noticed that there was a lot of girls who were also struggling with self-esteem and boys and, just making smart choices and being a teen, growing up in this crazy world. And that's whenever I just decided that enough was enough. And I wanted to be there for the girls. I wanted to be able to provide an outlet and a resource for them to talk, but then also to gain some coping skills and problem solving skills and strategies so that they can grow up with confidence and resilience and be able to accomplish their goals and live their very best life.
Yeah, it's always interesting as a teacher because, we could see what the students are actually giving us. And it's the girls who are, I'm so tell me how to do it. And they'll do this to their classmates. And we read their work and think, you are brilliant. Why are you pretending to be so silly? Like, people will respect you when they understand that you are a thoughtful, insightful person, but they can't seem to make that connection and be who they are in all kind of areas of their life. So where do you start with girls who are like that?
Exactly. I think it's all about just owning it. Owning who you are. I was talking to a mom this morning and her daughter was recently inducted into the National Honor Society, but her daughter didn't want to tell anybody. She didn't post it on social media. She didn't even want to go to the induction ceremony because she was ashamed that she was smart enough to be a National Honor Society. And, whenever the mom was talking to me about that, it made me sad because that is such a huge honor. And I just kind of felt sad for that girl for not wanting to own her truth and for wanting to hide behind the image that her friends thought she should have, or, just this false perception. Whenever, our girls have so many strengths, so many gifts, so many talents, and it's like, we really can rule the world, if we just shine and allow ourselves to do that. We have to learn how to give ourselves permission to shine, like unapologetically shine. And I talk a lot about that in my work, because girls are so quick to apologize for everything. Like, oh, you're stepping on my toe. I'm sorry. Can you not step on my toe? I'm so sorry. No, they're stepping on your toe. So let's just be assertive and let's just say, hi, I'm sorry. Can you scoot over? Can you scoot over just a little bit? Take away the I'm sorry and just, can you scoot over just a little bit? You're stepping on my toe. Thank you so much. That's a better way to say it than apologizing for whenever somebody's hurting you. I always tell girls, apologies are meant for whenever you hurt somebody else or, whenever you feel like you've crossed the line. Apologies are not meant for asking for your wants and needs. So yeah, I kind of went off topic there, but that's just something I'm passionate about, helping girls kind of become more assertive in their lives so that they can achieve and receive their wants and needs.
And how do we help girls understand that owning your own truth and being the wonderful self you are doesn't actually mean that anyone else has to be lower than you. I think sometimes we feel like, well, if I'm shining so bright, then the other people are going to feel bad or are going to, how do we make that separation between what's our responsibility and what is someone else's responsibility?
Yeah. So, I feel like your shine should come from within, and so it's not about shining brighter than anyone else. It's not about dulling down anybody else's shine. It's all about you and you valuing yourself, you honoring yourself, and you knowing your own worth and you letting that shine. So it's kind of like I encourage girls not to compare themselves with other people in a good way or a bad way. Just comparison, either way, however you look at it, comparison kills confidence. Like anytime you compare yourself to someone and you're like, oh, she's prettier than me. Oh, she's smarter than me. Or, ooh, I'm prettier than her. I'm smarter than her. Either way, it's not going to make you feel good. It kills your confidence, because if you keep on comparing yourself to other people, and even if you do think, oh, I'm smarter than her, I talk better than her, somebody's going to come along that you feel like you don't talk better or you speak better, or, and so you're not going to feel good about comparing yourself to other people. So it's all about just owning your own shine and owning your own right to be you and to be in your lane. Everybody has their own kind of lane, like to be in your lane and make that lane as sparkly and great and fantastic as it can be, and not worry about anybody else's lane.
I love that. What about those moments? We're talking about resilience. So what about those moments when we're comparing ourselves to maybe our past performance or how we've been in the past? So either that makes us feel guilty for what we've done in the past, or we were so brilliant in the past and now, like, why is this such a wreck all of a sudden? How do we ever overcome those moments?
Yeah. So, we all have those moments, and I encourage girls to learn from your past and to use failure, to use mess ups, to use mistakes as stepping stones for the future. I always tell my girls you're not falling down whenever you made a mistake. You're not falling down. You're actually, you can fall up, and to try to fall up. So that basically means, like, if you studied really hard on a test and you ended up getting a 72 whenever you thought you were going to get a 98. Okay. You are not a failure. You did not lose. You did not mess up. Your life is not over. What can you do to increase that grade next time? What are the steps that you can take? Let's come up with an action plan. You did not fail. This is redeemable. Let's just talk about what we can do to do better next time. And so, whenever girls or whenever you get caught in that moment of comparing yourself to the past or comparing yourself to whatever's going on right now, just know that your life is a constant growing, amazing thing. And you have permission to make mistakes because you're human. You have permission to mess up because you're human. But you only have this permission if you learn from those mess ups and those mistakes. And as long as you're learning and you're growing, you're good. You're golden.
Do you find in your work that is a more difficult message for parents to hear or teens, or would you say it goes both ways?
It totally goes both ways. I take that back. It's easier for the girls to receive it than the parents, because oftentimes the parents want to prevent their daughter from a failure, prevent their daughter from a mistake, and they kind of want to save her, if you will. And whenever parents are doing this, I just kind of use the analogy of a princess and a queen. And, I tell the parents to look at their daughter as more of a queen. Queens handle their business. Queens are smart. They're intelligent. They can get things done. Whereas, princesses, typically in the Disney movies, the princesses need to be saved, and they're waiting on a prince, or they're waiting on somebody to save them. So I just ask the parents, do you want your daughter to be a princess or a queen? And if you are constantly saving her or preventing her from failing, or you're doing her homework for her homework for her, or is forgiving, and does it bring to school? They take off work and go take school. If things like is not going to learn how to grow from whatever mishap happens in her life. And that's what employers are looking for in the future. They're looking for young women who are adaptable, young women who can turn lemons into lemonade. That's what they're looking for. They're not just looking for somebody who has a great resume and somebody who went to an Ivy League school. They're looking for people who can make moves and make changes. And if they mess up, they know that they can go back, rework, and do it again. Because that makes a good person, that makes a good employee. They know that person isn't going to give up if a mistake or if a failure happens.
Let's talk for a minute about one of those points that really is a point of fear for many parents, because it's such a difference from when they were growing up, and that's social media. That fear that mistakes now can become so public so quickly that parents are really kind of white knuckling it, waiting for the ball to drop, because they feel like there's irreparable damage done. What words of wisdom do you have for parents who have those kinds of fears?
Yeah, that's a big one. And yes, you are right. That is a fear for a lot of parents. And that's why I talk a lot about social media and about parents monitoring their child's social media, being friends with their child on social media. Because just to be honest with you, mistakes will happen. And teenagers, some of them are impulsive, some of them, their prefrontal cortex is still developing. And whenever they are tempted to post something or say something online, sometimes that impulse control just takes over and they just do it and they don't think about the consequences. So there is going to be a time whenever your child will post something that you may not agree with and that you may not think is good. But they totally feel fine with it. And I think that that's where important conversations on boundaries, on values, on reputation, on respect for oneself, but also respect for other people. I think that that's where those conversations come in extremely valuable, because if you are able to honor your core values, have respect for yourself, have respect for others, and maintain boundaries with what you post, what you put out there. If you're able to do that on social media, then you're able to do that in real life too, hopefully. And so I think that, the bigger picture over social media is the inner work that needs to happen, and those conversations that you need to have with your teen on their inner work and their beliefs.
How can we start to work on that as we go along, rather than the reactive approach of, oh my gosh, this happened and now I realize we have to, backtrack and do some of this teaching?
Mm-hmm. I think it could start just with your daily conversations with your child. We all have busy lives. We're go, 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 go. We've got stuff to do after school. We've got work, we've got church, we've got all sorts of stuff. So oftentimes our conversations just get cut to, how was your day? What'd you eat? Those just basic questions. But I think if you ask more deeper questions, then that gives you an opportunity to kind of challenge a little bit your child's answers, and to dig a little bit deeper into how they feel about things. So for example, instead of saying, how was your day? You can say, what was the most challenging thing you learned today? What was the hardest thing you learned today? And how did you overcome it? How did you work out that problem? Was anybody at school, like this is for the younger ones, was anybody at school crying today? What happened? Did you talk to them about it? How did you feel about that situation? And, those are just a couple of examples I just thought of, but basically what I'm trying to say is just dive deeper into everyday conversations so that your child can start to process different scenarios, different situations. And then whenever they are a teen and they do have access to social media, whenever those same situations come up, they'll have that mental capacity to problem solve and to kind of be strategic in what they decide to post and what they don't.
I love that. Yeah, more of a seamless idea of who they are online and who they are in the classroom. I think in both spaces, it's easy sometimes to be at school, especially in large schools, it's easy to be invisible, to walk along the hallway, not talk to anyone, ignore what's going on around you, just like it's easy on social media to be a spectator, just watching what's happening with everyone else, and realizing that like you can step into that and have something to say about that.
Right. Yeah, it's all about being proactive instead of reactive, and that's actually something I talk to my girls about. It's like, are you reacting to your day or are you creating your day? Like you can create how you want your day to be. Do you wake up in the morning and rush and barely eat breakfast and you're groggy and barely take a shower? Or are you wake up in the morning, writing in your journal, eating breakfast, taking time to think and maybe saying some affirmations, maybe declaring today is going to be a good day. I'm going to make an A on my test today. Saying some affirmations and telling the day how it's going to be.
I love that.
Which one do you do, And so I think it's important to, even as adults, are we reacting to the day? Are we waking up and just looking at our Facebook or our Instagram to see, ooh, what happened overnight while I was asleep? Oh no, this happened. Oh, this is going to be a bad day. Are we going about our day that way, or are we waking up, not even looking at social media and fixing and creating our day how we want it? I think it's all about, your mindset. And it works the same way for teens, because when they go to school, they're faced with drama. They're faced with something that happened online. They're faced with trying to date somebody or not date somebody. There's all sorts of things that are coming up. And the teens, I tell them, when you wake up in the morning, you have to decide how you want your day to be. It's up to you. You can choose. You get to choose. Like, it's a great gift. We get to choose if we want a happy day or if we want to be in a bad mood all day. You decide.
How do you help teens see that all of those steps that sometimes when you list it out, that's a lot of work. I have to get up and think positive things. And how do you help them see the difference that all of those things do add up to make a difference to their life?
Yeah. Well, I just show them daily examples, and I just say, hey, whenever we had our session last week, you told me that you woke up late. Well, first of all, you told me you were up late. You were up till 3 a.m. working on a paper because you waited till the last minute to work on it. And then you woke up late, you were late to school. So you got a tardy absence because you were late to school. Now you're going to have to serve detention because you got so I just kind of play it all out for them. And I say, okay, but what happened the day that you woke up on time? And you went to bed on time and you got to school on time and you ate lunch, and what happened that day? How did you feel? What kind of thoughts were running through your mind? And when you got home from school, were you exhausted, or were you able to have dinner with your family, watch Netflix? How did you feel that day? Okay, well, which day do you want? Which day do you want to create every day? So I just kind of play it out for them and basically just use real life examples. Mm-hmm. It does seem like a lot of work. I mean, it seems like a lot of work even for adults, but the work is worth it. If you want to maintain a healthy balance, if you want to maintain proper self-care, that inner work of working on your mind and working on being proactive, and it's worth it.
Yeah, and then I guess you have more control over the work if you do it in advance rather than always reacting to, oh, I'm late. Oh, I have a detention. Oh, I have to, you don't feed into the drama.
Yeah. Now it's that. Always reacting. It's like, no, I'm going to create my day. I'm not going to be late. I'm not going to have detention. Just create your day.
I love that. I love that you mentioned mindset too. Tell me a little bit more about what makes the difference in mindset between those teens who seem to be able to go through a difficult experience and learn from it, and the ones that just do the same mistake over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love reading about mindset. I love talking about mindset because it's so important. the difference basically, like there's some, and I only work with girls for the most part. So there's some girls who have this kind of fixed mindset where they believe that let's just use, for example, math. I'm not good in math.
That was me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me too. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm horrible at math, so I will just make C's. No big deal. I mean, I'm bad at math, right? So they just kind of have that mindset. Whereas on the other side, there's some girls who have a growth mindset. Whereas they may, instead of saying I'm bad at math, they'll say, you know, math is hard for me, but I'm going to go to study hall and I'm going to try to improve my grades. Or instead of saying math is hard, maybe a little bit more specific and just say like, I'm not good at equations yet, but I'm going to be good at them. I'm going to keep going to study hall. I'm going to do extra homework at night so that I can get better at equations. And so I think that word yet is so powerful. You know, sometimes girls get stuck in this moment of, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. Blah, 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 I can't, you know. But if you add that word yet into the sentence, so like, I can't swim yet. This summer, I'm going to take swimming lessons and I'm going to learn how to swim. I can't cook yet. But I'm going to get a cookbook and I'm going to YouTube every recipe that I love and I will be able to cook. So it's just the power of yet. It's the difference between a fixed mindset of I cannot do this. It's just not me, not happening. Nope. Like that is so, if you get stuck in that mindset, there's no growth there. There's no up leveling. You're just stuck. But if you add that yet, you can grow. You know, you can take yourself to a next level. You can try new things. You can just, it'd be awesome.
I'm just thinking about the power of that also for parents. You know, you haven't parented a teen before, maybe, and maybe you have, but this teen is a different kid than, you know, your other teen that's been through this already. And we have those layers, I think, of guilt as parents that I am not a great parent to this teen yet. You know, tell me a little bit about also the power of forgiveness in that space.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. So the same way that I talked about, you know, girls making mistakes, parents, you know what? You're going to make mistakes too sometimes, because just the same way as your daughter's a human, you are a human too. And making mistakes is what we do. That is what we do. So you've got to give yourself permission to make a mistake and then to forgive yourself for that. Nobody's perfect. And, you know, the whole cliche is right. Parenting did not come with the handbook. So you are figuring this out, and every single one of your children has a different personality, different makeup, and they're going to react to things differently. And you are too. So it's okay to feel like, you know, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I need to do things better. The reason why it's okay is because you are still alive and you have a chance to correct whatever happened, or to go and apologize, or to make things better. You still have another chance to do that. So if you make a mistake, or if you feel like you've messed up, forgive yourself for doing that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is a perfect parent, you know, out there. Nobody is.
And it's okay to even tell your kids that. I know sometimes we feel like we've been on this path and we keep having this conflict with our kid, and, you know, you're just stuck in this pattern and you're not sure how to get out of it, and you keep making the same mistake. And to just say, like, I can see that we're in this pattern. We keep making this mistake. Let's find a way out together.
Yeah. And, you know, your kids respect you a lot more if you just keep it real with them. You know, if you kind of sit on this high horse, if you will, and kind of make it seem like you're perfect, you don't make mistakes, you've never done anything bad in your life, you've always been just perfect, then your kid is not going to be able to relate to you that much, because they're not perfect. So if you're honest, and if you admit your faults, admit your mistakes, admit that you've messed up, or admit that you're having a hard time doing something, but you're working on it, that makes you real. That makes you relatable. And that makes your kid want to talk to you about more things.
I love that. Now, I know when we were talking on the phone earlier, we talked about teaching and parenting both are all about really planting those seeds with
Mm-hmm.
young people that we hope will grow into something, whether it's the seed of compassion or the seed of self-love. Tell me a little bit about what you talk to parents about when they're trying to sort out. I know the teen years, we really want to get in there because it's like our last chance with our kids, right? Before they leave the house, before they're out of our direct sphere of influence. How do we help parents understand the gradual way that they can make that happen?
So the gradual way that they can kind of transition from high school to
Yeah,
adult.
like having a relationship with their teen to understanding that soon that teen is going to be an adult and they probably still want to have a relationship with them.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it starts with conversation and communication and just letting them know that, hey, I love you. I'm here for you. I respect you, and I want to be able to have these conversations with you. And I think it starts with having conversations about tough stuff, about stuff that's going to make you both feel uncomfortable. So that way, whenever they leave home, and crazy stuff happens that they're not going to want to talk to you about, they will already have some practice talking about some hard stuff and tough stuff, and they'll call you and they'll talk to you about those things. So it's just all about nourishing that bond and making time for them. Because again, we all have these busy schedules, but if you actually still have mother-daughter dates in high school, father-daughter dates, still do that kind of stuff, because that kind of stuff builds those relationships. It's so important.
Yeah, I know that teens can often look so sophisticated and like they've got it all together, but just for parents to know that your teens still need you, even though they might keep pushing you away, like, no, I've got it. Don't get in my face. They really do.
Yeah, they totally do. They totally do need you. And they may act like they have it all together because that's that stage in life.
Hmm.
Typically, whenever girls hit their teen years, they kind of start pushing their parents away a little bit. And for some parents, it feels like a breakup. Like they feel like they've broken up with their daughter because instead of their daughter kind of clinging to mom and telling mom secrets and telling mom, "Ooh, this happened at school today," now their daughter is clinging to her own tribe of friends and telling her friends those secrets. And for a lot of moms and parents, it's hard. So, what I try to encourage parents to realize is that kind of breakup, or I don't even want to call it breakup, that breakaway, I guess, the separation of the daughter being so clingy to mom and everything, and then kind of separating, it's normal. It's their teens developing into an adult and searching for that independence. And that kind of breakaway is okay as long as it doesn't turn into a negative cycle of locking herself in her room and being in a depressive state. As long as she's still functional and highly functional and mentally healthy, that separation and that her seeking independence it's normal, and it's healthy for her to do that.
There's always that level of fear that when you're not right there with them, what are they getting into? I have little kids, and our son is just at the stage where he can go to the park and play with his friends by himself. And now that's all he wants to do. I'm like, already my baby just wants to be with his friends. And I know that's just a small snippet of what it's like in the teenage years when they're off and they can travel independently. And you just hope and pray that you've done the work that you can do, that they'll make wise choices when you're not there with them.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a little bit of faith, and, let them show you that you raised them to be the amazing person that they are. And when they mess up, have conversations with them about those mess ups and ask them what can they learn from how they messed up, and forgive them and forgive yourself too. Because again, nobody's perfect.
I love that. So important to hear that message over and over again. Keisha, if you could go back in time and talk to your teenage self, what would you tell teenage Keisha?
I have so much that I would tell teenage Keisha. First off, I would tell teenage Keisha to be present in the moment. When I was a teenager, it kind of feels like I had one foot in high school and then the other foot in college. And I wasn't really enjoying each moment. And then whenever I got to college, I was already ready to be out of college. It was like I wasn't really being present and just enjoying the moment that I was in. And there's so much magic in those moments. You know, there's so much magic in whenever you're in high school, you get to go to prom, you don't have bills, you don't have a mortgage. You know, there's just so much magic. And then whenever you're in college, you know, there's you're learning, you're studying what you love. You can be in a sorority or fraternity. There's just so many cool things that happen. So enjoy that time. You don't have to rush to be an adult. Enjoy the moment that you're in. And another piece of advice I would tell myself is to always stick to your core values and to listen to your gut. And if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. I mean, that's the reason that God gave us this intuition and this feeling of, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know. God gave us that feeling because we need it. We need it to kind of keep our perspectives in check. And, you know, whenever that feeling comes up, always stick true to your core values and stay true to who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, and I think sometimes we let go of that. We forget about or just put aside that intuition because we think, oh, I don't want to be rude. Back to what you were saying. I don't want to, be stepping on anyone's toes. I just want to be polite, but really to step into your power. I feel like it's come full circle in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we end, Keisha, I know you have something that you want to share with our viewers. Tell us a little bit about what people can access when they click through on the links that are below the video here.
Yes. So I have a free guide that parents love. And so I'm giving it to you for free. I want you to go to my website, www.coachkeisha.com. And on the homepage, you just click and you can download it. The name of the guide is 10 Secrets Teen Girls Wish Their Parents Knew. And I wrote this because in my office, girls tell me a lot, and they tell me often, gosh, I wish my parents knew this, but I don't know how to say it. I wish I could tell my mom this, but I don't know how to say this to her. So I put it all together in a free guide for you, and it also gives you some tips on how to talk to your daughter about those secrets that they wish that you knew. So go on over to my website, coachkeisha.com, and download the free guide. Also, if you are here in Dallas, if you're local in Dallas, Texas, I do have a summer program for girls coming up, and you can register for that on my website as well. It's called the You Grow Girl Summer Self-Esteem Summit, and we are going to be talking all about developing resilience, developing grit, how to problem solve, gaining coping skills, how to deal with drama, and doing all that while building our self-esteem and our self-worth and learning how to manage stress and just all sorts of amazing things. So if your daughter lives here in Dallas, Texas, I would love to have her in my group this summer. Go to my website, check it out.
Awesome. I'm ready to hop on a plane and come to Dallas for the summer. That sounds fantastic.
Come on down.
Keisha, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights and really your heart and your shine with us. I love your princess queen analogy because I know your website is talking about, you're the queen of empowering teens. So I'm so grateful to have had this time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And, God bless you. God bless you for everything that you're doing and all the messages that you're sharing. I appreciate you. Thank you for including me.
You bet. Take care, Keisha. Bye-bye.
Bye.